Only the strong survive! So say to the wind. Oh! I bet Oda also screams like this before drawing every chapter. Oda talked about his drawing process, and he said that his drawing process was to sit in front of his desk pretending like he was going to start drawing and then go back to sleep. Whenever you read manga authors' like personal work habits, when they write about it in their like little journals they have, they always like understate how much fucking work they have to do every single day. Because in Japan, like, You're not supposed to, well, I guess that's not true, but mangaka like to not talk about how their entire life is basically just slavery. They like to pretend like it's not. Oda has like high blood pressure, gout, and failing eyesight and stuff, so he's basically about to fucking die. The chances of him finishing One Piece before he expires is like 50-50 probably. If he had actually made the move to finish it in 5 years, which he said like 5 years ago, then he would be fine, but it doesn't help that he spent like literally 5 years on not Japan Island, so he's desperately in need of an editor that tells him that's gonna tell him no and be like, actually you have to fucking finish this up. But he's too powerful at this point. So, and they want him to keep on going because it's more sales for them. So they're basically letting him kill himself, unfortunately. Fucking chat doesn't work. Are you sure? Is anyone else having these problems? Or is it just you being a cuck? Is your chat being cucked by your system? At least the current arc seems kind of closest to the end. I haven't been reading One Piece, but I heard that he was going to reveal the truth about the world next week, and then it was like, nah, sorry, I'm going on vacation. Has he finally revealed the big secret yet, or not? It's a me issue. It's not you, it's me. Oh. It turned into a 10-minute pre-recorded video, so 10 minutes in story. So 7 minutes now. But did the video start? Did he actually say any kind of information? Hey, Dankly Weebs. Baal is that type of guy who waits for society to collapse to riot and become the IRL Riddler, sending his riddles to 4chan and Reddit to cheer him on. It played a coffee recipe so far. My name is Baal. I'm 37 years old and I'm from Japan, America. I'm an artist. I'm a manga artist. I'm hired for Coomers to fulfill their fantasies, their deep, lewd fantasies. I was going to be a manga author, you know, with drawing and writing in Japan. After 1,000 4chan posts and small comics, you know, I decided I had enough. Then I get into Patreon work. The clientele requested a lot of fetishes. I assume this is the Van Darkholm copy pasta, but I haven't actually seen any more of the Van Darkholm interview than, you know, the endlessly memed deep dark fantasy lines. I haven't actually posted that much on 4chan in my life. I had a rule where I basically wouldn't post on 4chan if I didn't draw something to, you know, make sure that I was a proper artist. And as a result, I never made a lot of 4chan posts. And now I only use 4chan when I'm taking a shit. Considering the website is shit, it feels appropriate that I only browse it when I'm shitting. Action! I'm still waiting for Usopp to die. How many characters in the current timeline have actually died in One Piece? One Piece was endlessly memed about characters never actually fucking dying. And we finally had one or two permadeaths with the Whitebeard and Ace permadeaths. Have we had any actual permadeaths in current timeline since those two? I was basically done ever expecting Oda to kill off his characters once the Hawk guy from the Alabaster arc, who had took a fucking nuclear bomb and flew it up into the stratosphere so that it wouldn't kill anybody, and got fucking detonated in air, fucking survived the nuclear explosion. I was just like, okay, we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that Oda is never gonna kill anyone, but Ace, and then never again. Pedro, a mink. Once again, my Mexican brothers are being murdered, and there's nothing we can do about it. One Piece Pedro. Oh. I must say that nobody cares if it's not a cute girl. People only care about the furry characters if they want to fuck them, so this only is relevant to the gay furries, which is approximately 85% of the furry population, so I guess it doesn't matter. When is he gonna kill off an important character like the rabbit? What is your opinion on mob-faced women? I don't like the vertical. I don't like these eyes, which is what we usually do with mob face. It's because I like it more when it's like these eyes. We're basing that. This is based on the idea that the default eye is going to be like this, right? And then the mob eye is going to be like this. There's a literal panel where a guy is mid-motion about to get his head cut off. He's revealed to be alive in a cover story. It makes no sense. I mean, Luffy was literally in mid-motion about to get his head cut off, and it was revealed he didn't die. Izo and Ashura Doji. Are those all current timelines? Yes. I completely skipped Wano Kuni because I'm too lazy to fucking pirate the Japanese versions of stuff. I just figure that One Piece is going to be around forever, so I can just read it whenever I want to in the future when it's complete. Izo was a Whitebeard commander. The entire Whitebeard infrastructure is built so that people can finally die for once, which kind of makes the death less dramatic. Didn't some of the Marine Corps commanders die or something? I don't know. I haven't been following shit. I still wonder why Marines just don't use Kairoseki weapons or bullets. It's just mind-boggling that they have something that minimizes Devil Fruit's power but is rarely utilized. That's not what my hentai in which Nico Robin is tied to the floor with Kairoseki chains and then gets gang raped by you know, a battalion of Marines say. But yes, it's just the standard, like, harder. Oh, is Superman so powerful? Why don't you just fuck him in the ass with your kryptonite-infused condom, huh? That shit. Do you keep up with Berserk at all? Nah, that's also something I plan to read when it's done. I wasn't really keeping up when Miura was still alive either. Smoker uses a sea stone weapon, he gets jobbed, so it doesn't work out so well. If we're going entirely based on power inflation, One Piece would have been better off if it ended like a solid 18 years ago, pre-time skip. It's completely understandable why Oda had to introduce shit like hockey and stuff like that. But, and make Luffy into a god tier character afterwards. That's what happens when you have shonen manga power inflation. It's unavoidable. However, it definitely has contributed to a lot of issues. Post-Muta Berserk kind of sucks. Wow, who would have thought that the manga produced by one of the #1 geniuses in the industry wouldn't be as good when he's fucking dead? You just should be glad that it isn't some sort of weird corporate IP being managed by his like descendants or something yet. It has shit still has so much. It can get so much worse. Blackjack, which is Tezuka Osamu's like #1 most celebrated manga, that's run by his descendants and like some sort of corporation to manage the IP right now. They recently released a version of Blackjack that was used partially making AI images, and they were like, we consulted AI to see what kind of a story Tezuka Osamu would write, and then they're actually like using AI for promotion, but ironically they didn't even do that because they were like, we consulted with AI about story writing and like what images would be good, and then they're like, what kind of character design Tezuka Osamu would have used and stuff like that. And then after we consulted with AI, we had like 8 people fucking draw the actual manga. So I'm like, okay, so you didn't even actually use AI. Like, give me a fucking break. These people think it's like positive that they're bringing up AI. They don't even realize that people don't fucking like it. Being dead is a huge power nerf for sure. It only works if you're like a traditional studio artist, like oil painter type person, like Van Gogh, and you have a limited amount of supply of your paintings. Then it's a massive buff. It's like, oh, you did nothing while you were alive. Well, guess what? Now the art industry is gonna start selling your shit after you're dead for like 10 million times the initial pricing you had it. So the adventure aspect has been gone, and whenever it's added, it feels forced or pointless. Maybe you just got old. It's kind of hard to tell if the adventure aspect has died or just your ability to appreciate things have died, because we're all like kids who were reading it when we were 12 and now we're like 30. How ironic, since Astro Boy was about coexistence with robots. It's just that reality is far more disappointing. Unfortunately, AI isn't even a fucking robot. We need to stop calling AI AI. It's just like learning software. It has no sort of, you know, upper level layer of intelligence that would bring any kind of moral conundrums. It's basically just a fucking scam software at this point. Did you see that AI video that won a 100,000 prize competition? It was a Pink Floyd competition. I truly don't care. We've reached a stage in capitalism where there's way more money than people can keep track of. So venture capitalists and shit have to throw their money somewhere because it's going to get taxed anyways. So if they have anything that might be worth something in the future, they're just like, we'll just throw money at it. Same thing for esports, etc., etc. Crypto. All this shit only gets a ton of money because there's just too much money in the market, and capitalism dictates that you have to use your money or lose it. So God forbid they put that money into charity. Apparently, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife has been trying to give away all the money that she received from him to charity and stuff, but you can't just dump it into a river. So the speed at which the money just increases simply from interest and stuff is faster than the speed at which she can give it away. So she's actually gained money since she set up the charities and stuff and tried to give it away, which should tell you a lot about the state of capitalism we're in. It's too fucking powerful. It's a system that's larger than any of us, including the rich people who benefit from it. And once it starts making money, like it can't fucking stop from making money. Because taxes, we really do need a wealth tax. But good luck with that, LMAO. I'm pretty sure the rich people who pass the laws don't want their massive inheritance that's going to their shitty children to get nerfed, so... Senator Armstrong was right. He was right about everything, guys. Or an upper limit for wealth, but this is fantasy land? Yeah. She gives charity, she gets a tax cut from charity since she makes a ton of money, and the tax cuts from charity, she makes so much money. I truly believe that Jeff Bezos' ex-wife is trying to give away her money, and it's not just like a charity shit. Which is something that should be changed as well, is that we shouldn't be allowing billionaires to decide how they get to use their money and then get tax breaks for charity. But I truly believe that she's trying to give away her money, at least, 99% of her money, which would still make her infinitely more wealthy than you need to be in this lifetime. However, I actually believe that she can't give it away. Like, normal human beings don't need however $1 billion she has. They just don't. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, worth. She has 38.4 billion US dollars, dude. I don't think she's trying to increase it. Her literal job was getting divorced. A teacher is banging her. She's not a bad-looking woman, I'm gonna say that. She's relatively attractive, not gonna lie.
Part 1, Chapter 2 of Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Translated by Constance Garnett, 1861 to 1946. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Part 1, Chapter 2. Raskolnikov was not used to crowds, and, as we said before, He avoided society of every sort, more especially of late. But now, all at once, he felt a desire to be with other people. Something new
He
seemed
just
to
like
be
me
taking
for
place within
real.
him, and with it, he felt a sort of thirst for company. He was so weary after a whole month of concentrated wretchedness and gloomy excitement that he longed to rest, if only for a moment, in some other world, whatever it might be. And in spite of the filthiness of the surroundings, he was glad now to stay in the tavern. The master of the establishment was in another room, but he frequently came down some steps into the main room, his jaunty, tarred boots with red turnover tops coming into view each time before the rest of his person.
Guys, was Raskolnikov
A
right?
full coat and a horribly greasy black satin waistcoat with no cravat, and his whole face seemed smeared with oil like an iron lock. At the counter stood a boy of about 14, and there was another boy somewhat younger who handed whatever was wanted. On the counter lay some sliced cucumber, some pieces of dried black bread, and some fish, chopped up small, all smelling very bad.
This is the Russian diet, by the way. They're like, chopped up cucumber.
So with the fumes of spirits that 5 minutes in such an atmosphere might well make a man drunk. There are chance meetings with strangers that interest us from the first moment, before a word is spoken. Such was the impression made on Raskolnikov by the person sitting a little distance from him, who looked like a retired clerk. The young man often recalled this impression afterwards, and even ascribed it to presentiment. He looked repeatedly at the clerk, partly, no doubt, because the latter was staring persistently at him, obviously anxious to enter into conversation.
He was stupid enough to be bound by his own morality.
Including the tavern keeper, the clerk looked as though he were used to their company and weary of it.
Raskolnikov, in by modern day standards, is like a massive incel guy on the internet, who everyone's like, LMAO, he's not actually going to do anything, and then he goes on and like shoots up a school, and everyone's like, well, I guess he was more of a incel loser than we thought.
Bloated from continual drinking, was of a yellow, even greenish tinge, with swollen eyelids out of which keen reddish eyes gleamed like little chinks. But there was something very strange in him. There was a light in his eyes as though of intense feeling. Perhaps there were even thought and intelligence. But at the same time, there was a gleam of something like madness.
I truly don't understand Russian society when I listen to Russian lit like this. I'm just like, what is like the social dynamics? Why is everyone like always drunk and living in poverty?
To this last trace of respectability. A crumpled shirt front, covered with spots and stains, protruded from his canvas waistcoat.
This is too low.
Like a clerk, he wore no beard nor mustache, but had been so long unshaven that his chin looked like a stiff grayish brush.
Why not?
And there was something respectable and like an official about his manner too. But he was restless.
Not that different from Japan, I guess. The Japanese younger generation is refusing to drink themselves to death like they're supposed to. And then the older generation is like reeing because their alcohol consumption is going down and the beer industry is dying.
Honored sir, to engage you in polite conversation, for as much as, though your exterior would not command respect, my experience admonishes me that you are a man of education and not accustomed to drinking. I have always respected education when in conjunction with genuine sentiments, and am besides...
A Berkeley student threatened the city council, thinking it's like Twitter, only to be arrested at the meeting for terroristic threats. That's pretty Dostoevskian right there.
Have you been in the service? No, I am studying, answered the young man, somewhat surprised at the grandiloquent style of the speaker, and also at being so directly addressed. In spite of the momentary...
I don't know how Japan is going to recover from their generational nosedive. They're not. Neither is the rest of the developing world. Or the developed world, and then the developing world, as they develop, become a developed economy, they're going to have nosedives in population as well.
Cried the clerk. Just what I thought.
Which is actually good because there's too many fucking human beings.
Immense experience, sir. And he tapped his forehead with his fingers in self-approval. You
mean like straight abstinence or just less alcohol? I think both.
But allow me. He got up, staggered, took up his jug and glass, and sat down beside the young man, facing him a little sideways. He was drunk, but spoke fluently and boldly, only occasionally losing the thread of his sentences and drawling his words.
Depopulated rural Japan is scary. Yeah, it's full of yokai and spirits and shit.
To a soul for a month. Honored sir, he began almost with solemnity, poverty is not a vice.